This is how you work in the sports industry with zero sports experience. As someone who has been working for the NFL for 4 years, this is the series of how I got to where I am today. Starting with number 1, your major. So when I went to college, I went to Chapman University where I studied broadcast journalism and documentary. I was a part of the film school. I wanted to go into news. That obviously didn't work out. But when we're thinking about our major for college and what we want to do, when it comes to sports, doesn't really matter. You don't necessarily need a sports major. You can have something like me where I did broadcast journalism, anything with production, anything with marketing, PR, business. Those are all great majors. I've known people who have had like a psychology degree and they work in sports, and I know people who don't have a degree at all and they still work in sports. Again, it just depends on what kind of lane and what kind of career you want in sports. You may get a lot of experiences through the classes that you take in college, like when I took a sports class, I took one. And I had many classes where I learned how to use a camera, how to write a script, how to edit. I've taken social media classes, and those have all definitely prepared me for the experiences that I had, which brings me to my next point. One thing that I will stand on is your major is not as important as your experiences. And when I say your major doesn't really matter, as long as you have the experiences to back up that you're able to do the job in sports that is required of you, that's all you need. Hands-on experience is your best friend. And I think the only way that I got my job at the NFL without having any sports experience whatsoever was the sole fact that I had so many experiences that were parallel to what they were asking for in this role, just not in sports. But because I knew football and I liked football and I knew the brand, I was able to apply all of those skills to their brand and to the league because I knew my shit. So in terms of experiences, you don't even have to get fancy with it. Anything in college, anything in high school, if you're starting off super early, your high school sports team, your college sports team, a local sports team, join clubs on campus, go to career fairs, just have experiences where you're able to fine tune and work on the skills that may be needed for whatever plan you have. Now, it's good to preface that I didn't even want to go into sports. Sports was not even on my mind of the list of things that I wanted to do when I graduated from college. I just liked football and I liked the NFL and I wanted to be a part of that organization. The experiences that I have aside from my major and the things that I did there, I interned at Seacrest Studios, which was more radio based, and then I interned at CNN, which was more digital based. I edited so many videos and understood the storytelling aspect when it came to digital and media. And then I interned at Refinery 29, where we produced 8 news stories, one of which I was on the ground for and lead producing in Austin and Dallas, Texas. After that, I interned at the Today Show, which was obviously more news based. And then finally, my last internship, which was during COVID in 2020, I interned at E-News, which was a social media internship. And with all of those experiences combined, I was able to enhance my skills in everything from writing, shooting, editing, producing, and how to format things for social, which all encompasses what I do now at the NFL. And my whole takeaway here is you don't need on-the-nose sports experience to work in sports. As long as you had the proper education, if that fits the career path, and you have hands-on experience that shows that you can do the job, as well as the passion for it, you can have a career in sports. Now, when it comes to finding a job or an internship in sports, the best places to look are as follows. Number 1, LinkedIn. Make sure your LinkedIn is up to date. There are so many people who post about new openings on there, as well as Twitter. Teamwork Online is also a great database for lots of sports internships, jobs, etc. And then, of course, just looking individually at each league, each team, if you want to work for a specific one. Going directly on their job sites is how I found my job at the NFL. I was just curious to see if the NFL was hiring in a role that I would fit, and luckily enough, they were. So I think the best way is to go about it directly. A lot of people also talk about networking, but please don't be discouraged if you feel like, oh, I don't know anybody, I'm not able to network, I haven't networked with anyone, and that means I'm not gonna get a job in sports. That is not true. Obviously, if you have any connections within those leagues or within those teams, I would suggest emailing because you never know. Closed mouths do not get fed. However, I'm telling you that that is not the only way that people get jobs in sports. I'm a living testament to that because I did not know a single person in sports because I didn't want to go into sports, and I just landed the job through my experiences and knowing the league. Being in the league, I've learned so much about networking, and even though networking isn't what got me to my job right now, it is just so important across the board no matter matter what, wherever you're at in your career, to network and to continue to foster relationships, because you never know where it'll take you and you never know what kind of information and what kind of insight and knowledge you can gain from it. So let's say you landed an interview for your dream job in sports. Here's my advice when you're going through the interview process. I'm solely just talking about social media and production because that's what I do and that's what I have experience in. So number one, know the brand. Whether it's a league, whether it's a team, how do they present themselves on social media? Can you recreate their voice? How can you think of new ideas or think of new posts or anything like that go along with the brand voice? Whenever you're working for a particular team or a league, they all differ. Some of them are a little more lax, some of them are a little more traditional, so it just depends on what they want and if you can execute what that brand gives. I think it goes without saying that you should know the culture of the league or the team, know its players, know what's going on, be up to date. Whether you're interviewing for a specific league or team, have your top 5 players ready. Have a story you could tell of why you want to work for this particular team or league, and not just, I like to watch basketball, I like to watch football, I like to watch baseball. A lot of people do. But what sets you apart from other candidates who are interviewing for this role? When I was applying for the NFL, I absolutely loved watching their NFL mic'd up videos on YouTube because of the fact that we could see player personalities on the field. And I wanted to be a part of a team where we could showcase those personalities, whether it be on the field or off the field, and trying to find ways to engage with the audience and show them why they should care about this person, this sport, this team, this league. If you know who's interviewing you, I would also look them up. It's great to know who they are as people and who you're speaking to. I've done this not only for my sports interview, but when I was interning for CNN, The Today Show, E! News, everything. I would look up who is interviewing me just to see who they are, who I would be talking to, who they are as a person, their interests, etc. That might be like a psychological thing of how I can connect to them, but I don't know, I feel like that works. But I think the best piece of advice that I can give is to just be prepared. Have on deck all the experiences that you have had to show, hey, I qualify for all of these things and what you're looking for because I did them here for XYZ. And the way that I could apply those skills from XYZ to your company is by this way. Granted, they may ask you that, they may not, but it's good to have those answers and it's good to be prepared regardless of what they're gonna ask you. Don't be scared of rejection. Rejection is redirection, as we all know. Obviously, it's easier said than done. Just keep at it, keep applying, keep trying, and the right job will come to you when the time is right. When I finally got the E! News internship, that was the 3rd time I applied to that internship. I got rejected twice, and I was about to give up, and I was like, let me try again one last time. They can't say no to me after I had CNN and Refinery 29 and The Today Show and all these things. And then they finally said yes. But that's how you get a job in sports, at least from my experience. If you have any other questions, let me know. Okay, bye.